I just want to make sure that my voice is clear.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. My name is Safiya Dawood. I will be chairing this workshop, this session. So please don't hesitate if you need anything to write for me in the chat box.
Right.
Our workshop will be an introduction to artificial intelligence. Our speakers are Ms. Majida Al-Rawali and Ms. Anam Mahmoud. A brief bio about our speakers. Ms. Majida Al-Rawali is a hybrid cloud-built team leader in Saudi Arabia, where she leads a team that aims to achieve a foundational pillars of the program, which is development, advocacy, and community. She also works closely with IPM programs that aim to give back to community and drive consumption on the cloud platform, such as startups at IBM, Digital Nation, and IPM Sales. For Ms. Anam Mahmoud, she is a cloud developer advocate at IPM in Dubai. She graduated from American University in Sharjah in bachelor degree in computer science. She has experience in working in agile software development, has worked on multiple web development projects using Python, Postgres databases, JavaScript, HTML5, and CSS. She has a passion for AI, data science, and machine learning. The workshop is going to be an introduction about artificial intelligence and the methodologies of artificial intelligence. As I said, if you need any help, please write in the chat box, and the floor is for the speakers. Go ahead.
All right. Thank you so much for the introduction. I hope you guys are also able to hear me with no echo or no issue with the voice. Hello?
I can hear you. Please, participants, if you can let the speakers know if you hear clearly or not.
Anam, maybe you can give us a feedback.
Hi, Majida. Yeah, I can hear you.
Awesome. All right, so I just want to make sure one more thing. I just want to make sure that you can see my screen as well.
Yes, we can see your screen.
Full mode?
Yes.
All right. Okay. Awesome. All right, so I'll get started right now. As Safiya explained, the introduction of the workshop today is going to be about the introduction of artificial intelligence and its relevance to enterprise. All right, so my name is Majda Ruwaidi. I'm a hybrid cloud build lead from IBM Saudi Arabia. And my colleague Anam Mahmoud will be also joining us to present the lab of this workshop. She's a developer advocate from IBM UAE. You call for coders. It's an initiative used to use your tech for good. So bear in mind everything you're learning here and that you have learned in the past in the world of technology and all the knowledge that you have related to the three themes covered in Call for Code. For this year in particular, zero hunger, responsible production and green consumption, clean water and sanitization can also be utilized during your participation on the Call for Code hackathon. You have the chance to win $200,000 as a prize for your winning solution. So you're contributing back to the community, you're trying to find solutions to worldwide problems through your technical skills, or even if you're participating in a team that is full of highly technical professionals and you don't have that much level of technical skills, then it's fine as long as one of you has some skills that can to an application, you have an idea, be in a team, form teams, and take this challenge into consideration. The timeline is about 4 months from now. Anam will be sharing the link in the chat so you can take a look at the website and try to understand it better, because obviously I'm briefly going over it right now, and I do believe that this initiative truly deserves your attention. It deserves your time because we're solving problems that if maybe it's not occurring in our current location right now, maybe the projected future, if problems like these are ignored, we can be also affected. So let's proactively start working on these problems and try to contribute as much as possible to solve these worldwide issues. Okay, so I'm going to go briefly over the agenda of this workshop today. So the title is Introduction to Artificial Intelligence, and the subtitle is Predict Insurance Premium Charges Using Auto AI. This subtitle is basically the hands-on section for this workshop, and it's going to be the last part we have. All right, so I'm going to go over the first 4 points. I'm going to define artificial intelligence, go over methodology, approach to understand it better, and then I will move on to the significance of AI in the global market and in businesses. And then I'm going to briefly go over one of the Watson services, which is called Auto AI. I've mentioned it twice already right now. And I'm going to spot the light on it and show you exactly how it works and what are the benefits of Auto AI. Okay, so let's get started with categorization of Auto AI. So to understand, with AI, not Auto AI. So to get started with AI, artificial intelligence, we need to understand that some people have to, it's well known and categorized into 2 parts. So the artificial general intelligence and the practical or pragmatic AI. The artificial general intelligence is the hypothetical ability of an intelligent agent to understand or learn any intellectual task that a human being can do. It is a primary goal of some artificial intelligence research and a common topic in science fiction and future studies. All right, so we're trying to mimic completely the human intelligence in general intelligence. All right, so the difference between artificial general AGI intelligence and practical or pragmatic AI, which is more realistic. The practical and pragmatic AI helps augment human abilities by automating complex or risky tasks. For example, analyzing terabytes of data to find trends and patterns within minutes, or navigating AI-enabled robots through volcanic mountains to gather data. So basically, it is practical or pragmatic AI. You can think about it as a machine that's given a task, a redundant task that usually takes you many hours or many days sometimes, or even months to perform. You give it to that computer so that it can work on it on a much faster pace. So it's doing exactly what you're doing, but on a much, much faster pace. And that's what practical or pragmatic AI is. And it's a very redundant task that works on ingesting data, analyzing data, formatting data, and then giving you some visualized results. All right, so here's some history on artificial intelligence. Just a little fact right here. So in 1955, which means it was like around 66 years ago, the term artificial intelligence was used in a proposal for the Dartmouth Summer Research Project on artificial intelligence, in which American computer scientist John McCarthy and others wrote. So that was what they wrote. We proposed that a 2-month, 10-man study of artificial intelligence be carried out during the summer of 1956 at Dartmouth College in Hanover, New Hampshire. That's the location. The study is to be proceeded on the basis of the conjecture that every aspect of learning or any other feature of intelligence can, in principle, be so precisely described that a machine be made to stimulate it. Okay, so we're trying to stimulate the machine to work just like humans, and that idea came into the study research around 66 years ago from now. Okay, so here are some important to remember definitions that take part to form artificial intelligence. So it's basically the composition of artificial intelligence. We start off with algorithm. So what is an algorithm? It's basically a set of mathematical formulas and rules. These algorithms, all right, so you have the sets of rules, exceptions, formulas that you create for your model. A group of these formulas, when they're joined, they create a machine learning. All right, and the machine learning is used to identify relationships in data based on similarity, probability to confirm a true relationship. So now that we're trying to see patterns, trying to see things that are similar to each other, and now that we have an algorithm base that states a true relationship between those patterns that are trying to be identified through the machine learning. Now we move the machine learning collection, we collect these group of algorithms, the group of machine learning, we group them together with a collection of technologies to accomplish tasks requiring human intelligence. And an example for that would be visual recognition and speech categorization. Those are just two examples of what artificial intelligence can do throughout algorithm-based, machine learning-based composition, in addition to a collection of technologies to create what AI is. So I'll just give two quick examples right here about visual recognition, how AI recognize some visuals. So basically, you're training your machine to see, let's say, 100 pictures of different animals, and you want it to learn that a certain animal with that look is a dog. At the end of the training, it's just like you're training someone, a human. At the end of your training, your artificial intelligence will be able to see any animal that is a dog and tell you it is a dog. So that's what visual recognition is. And then we move on to speech categorization. It can tell you, artificial can tell you if someone is happy through their speech, if someone sounds sad through their speech. It is a really, really broad world and a really deep knowledge to dig into, but these are just a little examples that I wanted to go over right now as part of the definition. Okay, so humans versus machines in terms of AI capabilities. The brain is a massive parallel pattern recognition engine. Artificial intelligence, on the other hand, utilizes the processing power of computers to automate pattern recognition. All right, so the power of AI really depends on the power of your computer. In matching certain patterns, AI can be much more powerful than the human brain. So notice I said in matching patterns, and I didn't say in anything else. And the reason why I said that is because I don't want to give you that overwhelming idea that AI is going to rule the world, because I know that some people are just kind of scared of robots that they're going to take our jobs and so on. So I'm just going to tell you that I'm just going to compare AI and humans in terms of 3 things AI can do, and I'm going to compare it to what humans can do, and that's pretty much it. I'm not going to go over like anything else. So as you can see here, we have time, we have 2 shapes that look alike, and we have the vision. I'm going to compare it in terms of time. So the speed of which artificial intelligence can process data and give you insights and results out of your information as compared to humans is higher than, like, the time is exponentially faster than what humans can do when you compare artificial intelligence. So according to JP Morgan Chase, which is a very well-known bank, they developed a machine learning system that processed loans that took lawyers and loan officers a total of 36,000 hours to complete. All right, it did it in less than a minute and with fewer mistakes. The time, you've seen an example, 36,000 hours in comparison to a minute. So you can see how much better artificial intelligence is right here. However, the human brain is more powerful than the current AI implementations in particular. Humans can use learn to contextualize new pattern processing. This ability allows them to be far more adaptable than AI. For example, if, let's say, a toy puppy, if you showed that to an AI, versus a human, the probability of an AI to tell you that both of them are real puppies is so much higher than a human. Human is able to identify a picture much better. And like, way to go for artificial intelligence.
Excuse me, Miss Majid.
Intelligence comes. So, yeah.
Your voice has been cut in, so
Yes.
and it wasn't clear for the last about when you started the definition. If it's possible, could you please go back over the definitions because they were very interesting and I don't think we heard them very clearly.
Which definitions? The algorithm?
The beginning when you no, the next slide,
Here?
please. Yeah, the next one. Yeah, from the beginning. The next one. No, the next one.
Here? From the beginning,
Yes,
humans
yes.
versus machines.
Thank you very much. No,
This
the one next to it.
I haven't
The
moved
next
to
one.
this one actually. Right, yeah, I'll this one or this one.
The slides are not moving actually in the presentation. Can you
Majida, I think your screen is lagging a bit,
okay.
so it's taking a while to shift slides.
Okay, let me connect to. Hello? Can you hear me right now?
Yeah, we can hear you.
I think the screen is frozen.
All right, is it better now?
Yes, it's better. Yeah. Thank you.
So did you lose me? Did you lose me right here?
Yes, here. Yeah.
Okay. Anam, did you lose me right here? Okay. Awesome. Okay, I'll repeat that part. Okay.
Thank you.
So I started with a comparison between humans and machines in terms of AI capabilities. So I just want to mention one point right here is that humans, I'm not comparing what humans can do versus what artificial intelligence can do. I'm just comparing artificial intelligence capabilities to human capabilities. So it's a much more limited capabilities than humans' capabilities compared to artificial intelligence capabilities. Okay, so if that confused you, hopefully the message will be clear by the end of the slide. All right, so the human brain, is a massive parallel pattern recognition engine. Okay, so it's naturally that way. However, AI utilizes the processing power of computers to automate pattern recognition. So the energy of AI, the way it processes patterns, depends on the processing power of computers. Okay, so in matching certain patterns, AI can be much more powerful than the human brain. So notice that I've talked about pattern recognition and I haven't talked about anything else till now. So as you can see from the shapes right in the middle, right here, those are two alike shapes. This is a recognized pattern. We're seeing something that's being repetitive right here, okay? So AI is pretty good at recognizing these replicated patterns. Okay, so I'm gonna compare, first of all, the time of which artificial intelligence takes to perform a certain task, of course, repetitive tasks on data, as compared to humans and the time they take to do the same task. So I'm just going to give an example from JP Morgan, which is JP Morgan Chase, which is a very well-known worldwide bank. JP Morgan Chase developed a machine learning system that processed loans that took lawyers and loan officers a total of 36,000 hours to complete. All right, so notice it took them 36,000 for humans to complete it. However, if you compare it to how long the AI took to complete it, it's a minute versus 36,000. And what's also better is that we had very few mistakes going on using AI. The human brain, however, is more powerful than current AI implementations. Humans can use all the pattern matching processes that they have learned before to contextualize new pattern matching processing. This ability allows them to be far more adaptable than AI for now. For example, if you took a photo of a toy puppy and an actual puppy, and let's talk about a really good toy puppy that simulates a really actual puppy. So if you took a picture of both and showed AI what that is, it's just going to tell you that's a puppy. However, if a human saw it, it could easily say which one looks real, which one is not. So I can see from these examples and so many examples that in terms of visual recognition, humans are so much better at it than AI. All right. So, okay, I'll move on right now to the next slide. In this slide, I would like to state an eye-opening fact. So 90% of the world's data was generated in the last 2 years, with 2.5 quintillion bytes data being created each day, till now, actually. So what does that mean? Like, what are we going to do with all this data? And of course, 90% of the world's data, knowing that it happened only 2 years ago, and knowing that it's only increasing and increasing every day, it's exponentially increasing, and the projected amount of data that we're going to have saved is going to be unbelievable in the future. So what are we going to do? How are we going to deal with all this data? How are we going to understand all this information we get from text, emails, all these unstructured data? They come from everywhere, you know. Like, we want to see it better. We want to understand, what does that mean? What does that imply? So we use something called big data analytics. Okay, so big data analytics is used to serve this purpose. In particular, enterprises truly rely on that. They rely on the analytics of big data. So, okay, so I'm going to move on. As you guys can see right here, we have a couple of steps, and we're comparing in terms of difficulty versus value. We start with the descriptive analytics, and then we move on in value and in difficulty to diagnostic analytics, and then we move on to predictive analytics, and then we move on to prescriptive analytics. Sorry if that's not actually updated, but it should be prescriptive analytics and not predictive. So it should be descriptive, diagnostic, and prescriptive. Just gonna edit that one right here. Okay, so what's descriptive analytics and why do we start with it? So we start with it, first of all, because it is the easiest way for us to get started, actually, with dealing with all this massive data. Descriptive analytics reveals what happened. Also, it's called business intelligence. It transforms historical data to readable information, simple reports, visualizations, decision trees to show what occurred at a point in time or over a period of time. It performs a basic and essential function useful for optimizing performance. So right now, we've covered the descriptive analytics. So what happened right here? That's what we ask in the descriptive one. In the diagnostic analytics, we ask, why did it happen? So it reveals why something happened. It is a more advanced level, of course, than the previous one, and it deep dives into historical data, apply big data modeling, and determine the root cause for a given solution. It applies big data modeling, and it determines the root cause for a given situation. So it tells you why did it happen in particular. All right, so predictive. Now we want to know, so now we know what happened, we know why did it happen. Now, what will happen? Now that we know all this information, what will happen? And that is the predictive. We're trying to predict the future. It builds upon the previous stage, the two other stages. It uses data analytical or algorithm and machine learning techniques for pattern and trends identification for future prediction. All right, so now that we've done the prediction part, we're going to know what's going to happen in the future. Now we move on to the last part before we finally visualize our results. We see actual tangible results from our big data. Prescriptive analytics recommends what to do next. Now that we know that this is going to happen in the future, what do we know next? What are we going to do next? Like, now that we know that, it builds upon, of course, the three previous parts, and it relies on the predictive function to show the implications of each route and identifies the ideal alternative accordingly. So it gives you a couple of options and it tells you which one is optimal, which one is the most suitable one. And finally, we get to see our results. All right, so AI-powered analytics, they expose the context, and vast amounts of structured and unstructured data reveal underlying patterns and relationships. Cognitive computing, which is basically in cognitive computing, gives advanced analytics capabilities and comprehensive AI techniques. That's the AI-powered analytics. And finally, as I said, we move on to the visualization. You will be able to better see it on our hands-on part, and you will be able to understand this part a lot better. Okay, so benefits of AI. So we have a couple of industries that I've added right here. Of course, there are plenty more options. This is just a little good example of the benefits that AI can give for industries. This is a whole world of research that you can spend time on and understand and try to well-round your head around. So, okay, so as you can see here, we have a time, we have dollar, and we have workers. The time symbol just shows you, as I gave you an example earlier, that it took 36,000 hours for workers to do a simple job as opposed to a minute using AI. So of course, that's gonna save a lot of money for companies. It's gonna actually save on a lot of, like, you don't really have to hire people. You don't have to hire, let's say, 100 worker to do a task that could be done with an AI machine. So anything that's redundant and anything that is, that really will just make that worker work for several hours without no meaning of the job that he's doing is actually a waste of time for the worker himself or herself. So they'd rather actually be working on something that's not very redundant, that's not very repeatable, and work on what really, really matters. So we can spend time on things that are very repeatable. So in healthcare, it helps us increase accessibility to information at a lower cost. We can get information from all over the world, let's say about COVID-19, and then we can get insights out of this information. As I've explained earlier in the big data analytics, we can know what we can do next. So how long will COVID stay? What's going to happen next? So we can access all this data. We can transform all this data at a much lower cost than we would if we didn't have AI. All right, so in compliance, it makes it really easy to detect error, violation, and trends, allowing proactiveness and avoidance of cost penalties. So we can know very, very early on using AI that this problem is going to occur. The violation is happening right here, fix it, and so on. And this will help us a lot in the future in terms of spending. All right, in law, it allows high accuracy in detection processes and eases up the search process to find evidence. So of course, as I've explained, like you go through a lot of data, how are they going to get entities, evidence of people, names, description of some cases? So it's a very easy search tool, as opposed to how much time they used to spend before to, investigate and find some evidence and so on. So this just speeds it up. In manufacturing, it gives insight on demand behavior, which helps in the optimization of inventory levels. So in manufacturing, you can tell, for example, in the COVID-19 crisis, we never knew that this was going to happen to us. So people ran out of masks. But now that we knew the demand, the problem has been fixed. I'm pretty sure that AI was highly being part of this for us to be able to give the whole world enough masks, enough tools, and enough, product to combat issues, worldwide issues, or even normal issues that people deal with on a daily basis. So that's how we can see AI helping us actually from a bigger perspective or a smaller perspective. Okay. Okay. So now I'm going to move on to building machine learning models. We have two ways to predict. I'm going to show, actually, we don't have two ways. I'm going to show today two ways to do it. I'm going to show you how you can do it using Auto AI, and I'm going to show you how to do it without Auto AI, because the hands-on part of this workshop today is going to be using Auto AI. So we're going to take the easy way out. And I'm going to show you how to do it without Auto AI, and we're going to do a comparison. All right, so first of all, before I dig deep into the comparison, I just want to show you exactly how the artificial intelligence project lifecycle looks like. So first of all, the life cycle of it starts with definition. We have to define, what do you want to find out? Do you have the data to analyze? We need to make sure that we have all the data ready. We prepare them, we refine the data, add the data as a project asset or in a data repository. We pick the tool that matches your data and desired outcomes, and then we choose between an automated process, a graphical editor, or code your own model. So then we start with the training process. We train the model with the data you supply. We let a model building tool choose estimators and optimizes, or choose your own. And then we finally move to deploy. Now we have everything ready. We start deploying, score the model to generate predictions, make your model available in production, and retrain as needed. This is basically the steps that you should take in a normal artificial intelligence project lifecycle. You should take to actually find your final result. Okay, pretty simple. Like any problem we have in the world, that's what we do basically. If it was like a technical problem, like let's say a mathematical problem, anything of that nature, we always define, prepare, choose, we train, we check out the model. Does it work? Does it really give us the result we're looking for? And then finally, we certify this model. This is a good model. It's ready to give us some predictions, some results, and so on. Okay, so now I'm going to dig deep into the two comparisons between creating machine building models. So I'm going to compare Bob to Lauren. Bob is a data scientist, okay, and he's working for a bank in Germany, all right? So they both work for a bank, and he's currently building a machine learning model that predicts if there is a risk involved in approving a loan for a customer. So they want to see, can they give that customer the loan or not? Will it be risky or not? And here listed are the steps Bob is going to take to build his model. So to build the model the typical way, he will install Jupyter Notebook, scikit-learn, Matplotlib library, and I'm sorry, it's hard for me to say this word, but Apache Spark. And then he's going to use all these 4 ways to do it. I'm not going to dig deep into what he's going to do in particular with each one, but that's just a general idea on what he's installing. And then he writes code to analyze and visualize data. He spends some time to understand project goals. He writes code to pre-process data. He spends time to identify the right algorithm. He writes code to build model pipeline. He waits for his model to finish training, and then he writes code to test and evaluate a model. He repeats the steps until the desired performance is reached. So these repetitions can take a little while until he finds the optimized solution. There are a lot going on in the middle, in between. There are some hyperparameter tuning. There are some edits that needs to be happening. It's a lot, and it might take him a lot of time to finish his, achieve his goal. All right, and as you can see, already we started with 9 steps, and they're going to be repeated over and over again until we find the perfect solution. However, Lauren is going to take the easy way out. All right, Lauren is also a data scientist, as I've explained, and she has the same goal as Bob. However, Lauren is going to just take 6 steps right here, as you can see. She's going to upload the data set to Auto AI. She runs Auto AI with default settings. She checks pipeline leaderboard for models generated. She uses Auto AI to save a deployable model. She clicks download Python notebook within Auto AI and then executes notebook to update model and deploy it. So bear in mind that Lauren, in very few steps with no repeatable work being done, she's getting the same, even better result than Bob. And I'm going to show you some tangible results going on in the upcoming table. All right, so I just want to briefly go over the stages of model building using Auto AI. Okay, so this is like, okay. So basically, Auto AI is an automated machine learning tool that helps simplify the AI lifecycle management. Auto AI is simply a tool that can be found in IBM Watson services. You're going to see that also on the hands-on. So she provides the data in CSV file. All right, so that's what Lauren did, and that's actually the stages of model building using Auto AI. You provide the data in CSV file, all right, feature type detection, missing values imputation, feature encoding and scaling. And then you select the model type, selection of the best algorithm for the data. And then you generate and rank model pipelines. Bear in mind the hyperparameter optimization and optimized feature engineering. Finally, you save and deploy a model. All that can happen in very few steps. You save a lot of time using Auto AI. So that's pretty simple. It gives you everything that you need. It gives you the best route to take. It gives you the model that is optimized. It gives you, it just, like, it makes your life easier simply. Okay, so let's compare between some tangible results over here. So I've showed you the tool that Bob have used and the ones that Lauren have used, all right? And then the models generated. Bob have generated only one model as opposed to Lauren, she generated 8 models. The best algorithm was logistic regression for Bob and then Lauren gradient boosting classifier. The accuracy is 76.4% for Bob as opposed to 81.2% for Lauren. And then the enhancements are none for Bob. And then for Lauren, the enhancements are hyperparameters optimized, features transformed. It took Bob an hour to perform this task, while it took Lauren 12 minutes to perform these tasks. For downloadable JSON for Bob and deployment-ready models in Python Notebook for Lauren. So the biggest factor actually is time and the accuracy. That's basically what we need. And we need a lot of models to pick from. So 1 as opposed to 8, and then 76.4% as opposed to 81.2%, and 1 hour as opposed to 12 minutes will make Auto AI the go-to tool for a data scientist that is, interested in finding easy, optimized results in less time. Okay, so I'm going to hand in the lab section to Anam, and I would give you guys 5 minutes to sign up for a cloud account. So basically a cloud account is you take a few steps. I'm just going to show you how to do it real quick right here. So if you don't have an account already on a cloud, you just enter your email. You enter your email. Okay, create an account. So I think once you enter your email, the password will open up for you. You verify your email, and then you create your account. So it's only 3 steps, and it's going to take you less than 5 minutes. So yeah. We'll be back then in 5 minutes. And now, can you share your screen?
Yes, thank you, Majida.
You're welcome. The link is actually added in the chat, so you can see it. And I have shared it, and I'll share it again as well.
Majida, if you can stop sharing your screen, I can share mine. All right. Hi, everyone. My name is Anam, and I will be presenting today the session on Auto AI. For that, I have a Git book created, and it has all the steps that you will need for this code pattern. Majida, if you can share the link to this this Git book, that would be really nice. So once you guys have signed up, we'll get started with the Gitbook. Uh, and I hope you can all hear me. Can you all hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay. So I'll give you all a few minutes to log into IBM Cloud, and then we'll get started. Once you are done with creating your accounts, you can just give send like done or something in the chat. So then we'll begin with the code pattern today with the hands-on. Okay, I do see a few done in the chat, so I think we're good to go. Let's begin. All right. So in this notebook, you'll find everything that you need for today's code pattern. You have the link to sign up to IBM Cloud. Or if you already have an IBM Cloud account, you can use the same link to log into IBM Cloud. Then what you will learn from this code pattern is how you can build services on IBM Cloud, how you can put your data onto IBM Cloud using Watson Studio, which is being rebranded to IBM Cloud Pak for Data. And then you can see how to create an experiment with Auto AI, how to connect your experiment with then how to create your machine learning models, and then how to choose the best model, generate predictions using deployed model, and then you can test the model quickly on the IBM Cloud. Now, if you see over here, this says you'll find the full link code pattern with notebooks on this link. You can click on this link and this will take you to another page, which is the GitHub page. Now, this is where you will find all the information as well, but this one also has data regarding notebook. So you can, if you're interested, after we finish the Auto AI, you can go ahead and finish the rest of the code pattern through using this link over here. And this will show you how you can create notebooks and run notebooks at IBM Cloud as well. But for today, I'll show you the architecture and I'll tell you what we'll exactly be doing. So for the architecture, what we are doing is we will create a Watson Studio service. We will create an object storage and we'll connect these two. Now, this object storage is where our the CSV file will be saved. Now, someone in the chat asked what is a CSV file. It's a comma separated file in which you have all your information. It's basically like an Excel file where you have different cells for each of your data. Similarly, CSV file has all of your data except it's separated using a comma. So every time you see a comma, you can imagine it as another data in the column. So then after you upload your CSV file, we will be creating an Auto AI project, and we'll connect our CSV file with our Auto AI project. Then we will I'll show you some of the experiment settings that we have and how you can change them based on your needs. After which we will run our experiment, and first we'll have to create a machine learning instance, and then we'll run our Auto AI project. Now, in the GitHub repository that I showed you earlier, you can find more information on how you can connect that to the Flask application and how a user can use it. So if you see over here, let me just show you. So you see over here, you'll find this is the application. If you go for it, this is how the Flask application will look like. And this application will be deployed on the cloud, which you can send the link to others as well. But for today's session, we will be focusing on the blue box, which says the cloud. So we will be focusing on all the aspects of the cloud only for today. Okay, now to move ahead, you need to have your data set. So the data set we're using today is from CAIDA, which is the Insurance Premium Prediction Charges. You can download the link, download it from here. And once you download it, you'll find the insurance.csv file. Okay. Okay, let me just see what's happening. One second. Can you please allow Majida in the session? I think she was dropped off by mistake.
I need her to re-sign for me to admit her. Can she please let her know that she need to try again so I can admit, okay?
All right, she'll try again. Anyways, let's continue with our session. All right, so you can download your link from easily access the link and use it. Okay, so just click on this link and you will land on this page, Kaggle here. Just download the zip file, or the CSV file from here. Get the insurance.csv, and if it's just a CSV, then we'll use it as it is. Now you can see different steps over here. So this is what we will be doing today. We will create Watson Studio services, and then create a project. So you can see there are numbers. Gitbook and see where you are and continue through it. Or you can let me know and I'll repeat the steps. All right, so let's get started. I'm just going to log into my IBM Cloud. All right, I hope everybody is logged into IBM Cloud. So once you log into IBM Cloud, this is the main page that you should be seeing over here. This is the dashboard page. Now for your quick start, they have some links that are in tutorials that you can click on to get started. You can upgrade your account. Currently, we are on the free account. From the link that you use, you're on the basically the light plan. And you can create resources using this button. And you'll find the resource summary of your applications and your services over here. So you can see I have two services. I have one storage, and then any planned maintenance that will be happening will be mentioned over here. Then based on what you may like or what is new on IBM Cloud, you can find links to that over here, and they have tutorials where you can learn what's happening on about IBM Cloud. You can find the news here. Any cases that you open, you will find them here. In case there's any maintenance or updates happening or some server is down or whatever issue it is, you can find them all on the IBM Cloud status. All right. So what now? If you go to the catalog session of it, if you click on catalog, you will find some things that you may like, services that you might like. But if you want to view all the services, just click on services. Okay, and then you can find over here all the services that you need are over here, whether it be about commute, containers, networking, storage, AI, machine learning, analytics, blockchain databases, security, mobile platform, everything you will find over here. Now, what we need is under AI and machine learning. So if you go to AI and machine learning, you can click on Watson Studio. Or alternatively, what you can do is just click on this search symbol over here and search for Watson Studio. Now, because we are on the light plan, I already have a service created. I cannot create more than one light service. So I have to delete my previous service to create a new one, but for you, it should be totally fine, right? So just search for Watson Studio and you will find it here. Now you can select a location. You can select a location. What we normally go for is the London and the Dallas region. So either one works fine for this session. You can use either one of these. Just remember which one you choose, because for your machine learning instance that you create, they need to be in the same region to be able to work properly, okay? So choose either one of that, and then make sure it's on the light plan, and then go ahead and give your service a name. You'll see this create button activated. Just click on the create button and it will create the service for you. Okay. So I'll repeat it one more time. Search for Watson Studio. Select a location, either London or Dallas, and make sure you're on the light plan. If you want to give your service a unique name, you can give it, or go ahead with the name that has been provided, and then click on create. Okay. So once you create the service, you'll land onto this page over here. Once you land onto this page, you can find what's your plan and how much usage is being done, pricing. If you want to change the plan, then you can go ahead and do that all over here. But let's go back to manage, and over here you'll find documentation. Now the documentation helps you get started with whatever you need and to learn more about the services that Watson Studio can provide. And the gallery has some projects and notebooks that you can run quickly and understand how everything works out, right? So let's click on Get Started. It will open up in a new tab. Okay, so this is what Watson Studio looks like when you launch it. Now, some of you might see IBM Cloud Pak for Data over here. Don't get confused. It's the same platform that we're on. It's just that Watson Studio is going under a rebranding, and some of the accounts will see IBM Cloud Pack for Data over here. Now, IBM Cloud Pack for Data or Watson Studio is a perfect tool for machine learning and data scientists out there, because you can find all your services and all your projects in one place, right? Because so any projects that you create, you'll find them in the recent projects, any deployment spaces you have. I'm sorry, just a minute. I'm sorry. So any of your services that you have, you'll find all of those connected. All the
Are you sharing your screen? Sorry to cut you off.
Yes, I'm sharing my screen.
It's showing a black screen, and I'm seeing in the chat also that they're not able to see the screen.
It's a black screen. Okay, let me just check.
Yeah,
Let
it
me.
stopped at 8.
It stopped at.
At the create service, I believe they mean.
Oh. Okay, wait.
So, will be all.
Let me stop sharing and share again then. I'm not sure what happened. Yes, I'll repeat the steps. Okay, can you see my screen now?
Yes, it's clear.
Which screen do you see? Do you see Chrome with Watson Studio?
I see overview. Welcome,
Yes. Okay.
learn by example. Data. Okay.
All right, great. So let me just repeat this step for Watson Studio. Just go ahead and search for Watson Studio over here. For those who have created their service, they'll see their service mentioned over here, like mine is. If you have not created, just click on Watson Studio right here. Okay. So
They're asking which link are you using?
I'm sorry, what?
Which link are you using? Jadila just asked for the
What do
previous
you
part.
mean? What
That's a
link?
Watson
There's
dashboard.
no link. Yeah, I'll show you how you get there. Just first create your Watson Studio service, and then we'll go to the Watson Studio dashboard. So the link that we gave to you to sign up to IBM Cloud, use that to create your IBM Cloud account for free. It's a light plan account that you can create and test a few services over there. And if you need to upgrade, then you can. But for now, it's totally free. And for this session, it will be free as well. So use that link to sign up to IBM Cloud, okay? And then once you sign up to IBM, once you log into IBM Cloud after you sign up, you will land onto this dashboard page over here. All right, so now to get started, we need to create a service called Watson Studio. So Watson Studio, just search for it, and then you can click on Watson Studio over here. Now in Watson Studio, once you reach this page, select a location, which can either be London or Dallas. All right, so choose one of them, but do remember which one you choose, because you need the same region for your machine learning instance. So choose one of the region, and then go down, make sure you choose the light plan over here, and then scroll down to the bottom. You'll find configure your resources. Over there, you can give your service a name. Okay, if you want to give it a different name, you can do that. And then you'll see the create button is enabled. So click on the create button, and it will take you to this page right here. Once you click on the create button, it will automatically take you to the service that you just created right here. Okay, now click on get started. Once you click on Get Started, it will open up in a new tab, which is this tab. Okay, so once you land onto this page, don't get confused if you see IBM Cloudpack for Data over here, because IBM Watson Studio is going under a rebranding to IBM Cloudpack for Data. Now, what I was saying is that Cloudpack for Data or Watson Studio is the perfect tool for data scientists because you can find all your necessary services that you need. All your projects can be in one place. You can create your services and you can create your deployment spaces. All of these projects can be separate, but they will be in one place. So it's basically an umbrella for all your needs that you have for Watson, for your data science needs, for your projects and everything. Now over here on top, you'll see it says work with data. Just under that, you will see create a project. It's a hyperlink, so just click on it. So once you click on it, it will take you to the next page where it says create a project. We're going to create an empty project, so select that. Now over here, you have to give your project a name. So our project is insurance. I'm just specifying it because I have a few projects under that. So you can give this any name that you want. Okay, and under the storage, you will see it says add. I already have a cloud object storage, so I cannot create another one, but it says add over here. So you can click on that add button and create a service. Let me show you how that will look like. So on the IBM Cloud itself, if you search for object storage, so you'll find this here. Okay, just click on that. And because this is a light plan, so go ahead with this one and you can create it, right? And then you can create the service. So this is what the page will look like. And once you create your service, just click on refresh and you'll see your service associated over here. Can you all hear me properly now?
Yes.
And the screen is clear too?
Can the participants please give us a feedback? I can hear you clearly and I can see the screen.
Okay.
Okay, good. We got one answer from a participant. She said yes, yes.
All right.
All good.
So,
we're good.
all right, thank you. So once you have the storage, you can add. Once you click create the storage, you can then go ahead and click refresh and it should associate your service right over here, just like mine. Okay. Once you reach this stage, just click on create. Also, at any point, if you are behind, just let me know, or you can go ahead and see over here where we are. So this is create Watson Studio service, which we finished. Now this is the create a project. Okay, so this is what it will look like once you do it. And next step, now we'll go to this step now. Okay, add data set. So we're at step 1, part 3. All right. Okay, so once you create the project, this is the overview of the project, what it looks like. On your left-hand side, you'll see an overview. which has the app when it was created, a description if you give it, storage, your associated storage, and the collaborators. Okay. Next, over here, you have any activities that you do, and then you can create. So if you're working on a project, it's highly recommended that you start to document your project. It's very important in data science that you document all of the data or any project that you have, right? So this is for that. Next, let's go over these tabs. Let me show you. Assets tab. Now, under this tab, you will have all your assets, all your data assets, your machine learning instances, your notebooks, your experiments, auto AI experiments. So all of that information will be over here. I'll show you once we start adding stuff to the project. You will see how this changes, right? So once we will add, we will be adding the CSV file over here. You'll see an CSV file under data assets. Once we create an auto AI project, you'll find that here. Then you will you'll save the pipeline that you create from the project, which will also be showing over here, right? So all of that information will be here. Next, environments. Under environments, you have all the different environments created for you, but you can always create a new environment. Now, environments are useful when you are creating notebooks. So for notebooks, you need a certain environment for your notebook to run, and you can select some predefined environment from here, or you can define your own over here. And next we have jobs. So under jobs, like there are some what do you say, like jobs or some things that you want in your project to run from time to time. It could be once a month, it could be once a year, it could be twice a year, or something like that. Or like after you upload a new data, you want the project to do something, you want to create a job to it, and you want to automate it because you might not remember it. So you can always put your jobs over here. All right, so you can create your jobs and they will show up over here. Now, if you go to access control, you can have more than one collaborator. So if you're working in a team, you can put in the emails of the person and then you can give them different permissions. You can give them a viewer permission, which means they can only view the project. You can give them an editor position, which means they can edit the project. You can give them an admin position, which gives them every right to the project, even deleting your project. So you can give them you can give your collaborators different level of access. All right, so service IDs is basically when you have different services on your project, on your cloud account created or from something else, you can add them over here. So these are all connected together. Now under settings, you'll find project details again. You can change the name if you want. You can add a description over here. You can see your cloud storage object over here. You can manage it in the IBM Cloud, which is over here. And then you can associate different services. You can add services. You can have access token. And then you can create integrations. Now, you might have seen a lot of notebooks being published to GitHub, which can be done very easily through this session over here. You can connect your repositories over here, but for that, you need to connect your GitHub account. So you can easily do that. And you can then easily publish them over. One second. Oh, okay. Sorry, I clicked the wrong button. Anyways, so you can. So, okay, this is a good chance to show you this as well. So on the hamburger sign, you can see your projects. You can view all the projects over here. You can view all the jobs under this. You can view the deployment spaces right below it. Your services and everything can be here. So I'm just going to go back to my project. All right. So what I was saying, yeah, you can publish your notebooks easily to GitHub from here as well. Now let's go back to the asset tab. And what you will need to, now we need to upload our data set. So on the right side, you can see it says data, and then you can, so wherever you have saved this file after you downloaded it, you can drag and drop it from there, or you can just browse your computer. So I have mine over here, insurance.csv, and this is the file that we need. It's insurance.csv. So open that, and you can see it's starting to read and starting to upload our data. So I don't know if you guys saw that, but when it was it was loading the data, it said, after that, it said uploading to Ibm Cloud Storage. So now the Ibm Cloud Storage that we connected earlier, now our CSV file is right in that object storage in the database, okay? So now you see how this has data assets, and then under that it has insurance.csv under the assets tab. Let's go ahead and click on the add to project on the top. So you can see how you have a lot of different assets that you can create. The data one is exactly what we just did right now. You can have a connection. Connection is generally when you have more than one data and you need to connect them. So to create a connected data, you need to first create a connection and then connect the data. Then today what we will be doing is Auto AI experiment, but you can also create notebook. You can create notebooks, dashboard, natural language classifier, modular flows, which is SPSS. Then you can have data refinery, and decision optimization experiment. So data refinery is basically you can refine your data, which is basically cleaning up your data. You can do that using data refinery. So for today, we're doing Auto AI experiment. So go ahead and click on Auto AI experiment here. Okay. So now we land into this page. You can give your project, your Auto AI experiment a name. Okay, you can give it a description, and then under associated services, you will see it says Watson Machine Learning Service instance. Now we need a Watson assistant, Watson Learning, machine learning instance. So we will click on associate a machine learning instance on this link over here. Just go ahead and click on it. Okay, now I already have a service, but for you, you will not have one. So click on new service right here. Okay, and these are all the different services that you can actually connect to your applications. So for now, we need machine learning. So click on that. Okay, so once you click on that, you'll see over here, select a region. Now this region needs to be the same as the one you chose for Watson Studio. Okay, so if you chose London, make sure you choose London here. And if your Watson Studio is based in Dallas, make sure you choose Dallas here. Okay, in case somebody has forgotten, just go back to this link. I'm sorry. Oh, so sorry about that. I'm actually just recovering from COVID. So just click on this IBM Cloud over here. And you can click on services. If you forgot which place you have located your Watson Studio, you can find it here. So under services, you will see Watson Studio, and then you'll find the location over here. Okay, so make sure you choose the same location for your machine learning instance as well. And then it should be on the light plan. You can see it's checked. If you want, you can give it a different name or just keep the same name and click on create. All right. Once you click on create, you'll come back on this page. I'll give a minute so you will be on the same page. Let me just show you in the meantime one more time. Once you click on Associate Machine Learning Instance, you will open up to this page over here. Click on New Service. Scroll down to Machine Learning. Click on that. Select the region as your Watson Studio region. Make sure the light plan is checked. Give your service a name and click on Create, which will bring you back to this page. Okay, once you are back on this page, over onto your left, you will see a box. Just click on that box and you can see one item selected, and over to your right, you'll see Associate Service. Right now, you'll see not associated, right? So just click on Associate Service. Let me just refresh in case if it doesn't work for you either, just refresh it and it should have associated it. Yeah. Just refresh your page and it should have associated your service. Okay. So once that is done, I'll just close this. Just go back to your tab and reload. Okay, and you'll see a service instance associated with your project. Once this is done, click on Create. Okay. So now over here, we will add the data source. Now there are two ways of adding the data source. If you have not added the data source previously, you can add it in this step. But if you have already added it, then you can go ahead and click select from project. If you've not added the data set, then do browse and you can select it from your uh, laptop or computer, wherever you saved it. If you have uploaded it onto the project, then we'll say select from project. Okay, now over here you can see we have one data set, which is right over here. Just click on that and you can find information about the data set, just basic information, and then you can select asset. All right, so once you select that, on your left, you will see the number of columns, the size of the data. And then over here, you have configure details on your right, which says, what do you want to predict? Now, what we are doing today is we're going to be predicting the insurance premium charges, right? Now, so the insurance premium charges is basically, we're going to see if the insurance costs are preventable. So for example, if we can eliminate maybe smoking or lower the BMI, so will it actually save money to the person, right? So over here, if you click over here, you can see the different columns that there are. Like the age, your gender, your BMI, children, smoker, region, expenses. Okay, so we're going to see how all of these will affect your expenses column. So this is what we are trying to predict. We are trying to see how changing anything from the above 6 will affect the expenses. So go ahead and select expenses in this part in what you want to predict. Okay, so in this, we will study the effects of age, smoking, BMI, gender, region, and determine how much difference these factors make on your insurance premium. So by using this model, you will see like how much of a difference the lifestyle can make on the insurance charges. And Now that we have selected this, you can go, I'll show you experiment settings. But before that, you can see over here, it has already selected the prediction type for us. Uh, for this experiment, the best method is regression, and the optimized metric is root mean square error. All right. So you can see how quickly it did that. We didn't even have to do anything. All we had to do was give it the column that we want to predict, and it will choose the algorithm as well as the optimized metric for us. Otherwise, we would have to go through a lot of stuff before we can actually reach to this conclusion, right? We have to understand the data, we have to read the data, and then get to this stage. So now you can click on experiment settings. Okay. Now to accelerate training, you can opt to skip duplicate rows. So if you want to make it the training better, you can drop them, or it's really up to you. This you can play around with these settings and then see how it changes everything, right? So it's currently by default turned on. Then training data split. Um, it's this part is basically how much data you want to hold out and how much data you want to keep for training. So for training purposes, you can see it's 90%. So the 10% is being held for testing purposes, or basically just held out so that it doesn't know the whole data. All right. And then in prediction, you can see there are different prediction types that you can choose. For by default, binary is not here because this is not the one that applies to this, but you can have multi-class classification and regression. So, but classification is generally if you want to categorize data, but right now we want to predict from a continuous set of values, which is the expenses column, right? And then the optimized metric, you can change these based on your different requirements. And the other thing is you can see over here algorithms to include. So you can choose different algorithms that you want to include in your experiment and see how they behave. And so we just want two, and the pipelines that will be generated are 8. If you go for like I want to use three algorithms, then there will be 12 pipelines created, and for 4 you have 16. So let's go with the optimal 2, and then you have runtime. um, so this settings is basically just initial mode tuning iterations, feature engineering, and final model tuning iterations. You can see the Watson machine learning over here. I'm just going to leave all of these as default and go back onto this page. Now what we'll do is we will run the experiment. Okay. So we will go ahead and run the experiment. Okay, so let me just swap the view for the progress view. So now you can see the experiment has started running, and it has a long process to complete to build the 8 pipelines. Okay, in the meantime, what I do want to talk about is the biases in data. Okay, so it's very important, and it's something that has been going around for very recently a lot. So the capabilities of artificial intelligence, we are aware of what artificial intelligence can and cannot do. And in the intelligence of these machines is the machines, the more improvement they have, right? So these AI models are still a black box, and their decisions are often questioned by the clients. And the research is improving faster than ever on the conversations around building trust on AI are a very famous point of interest for developers, sales, marketing teams, clients, And for all of these people, because it's directly connected to the client, how can we trust AI? How can we believe that this is not a biased data, right? And it's important to look into the bias of the data, because bias is all of our responsibility. And all it does, it basically hurts the discriminated against, right? So people who are already disadvantaged, for them just low want. And it can also hurt everyone by reducing people's ability to participate in the economy and society. It reduces the potential of AI for business and society by encouraging mistrust and producing distort results. Now, business and organizations believes that they use improve on human decision making, and they make a responsibility to encourage progress on research and standards that will reduce bias in AI. Um, And the fairness in data machine algorithms is critical to building safe and responsible AI systems. While accuracy is one metric for evaluating the accuracy of the machine learning model, fairness gives you a way to understand practical implications of deploying the model in a real world situation. So it's really important that you make sure that you understand what's fairness, what's bias, and make sure that your data is not biased. Because if your data is biased, then your machine learning model is actually of no point, right? At one point, you will see that people will understand that this is a biased model, and it can actually hurt you after that. So just make sure. You can also read an example about the Google, what recently happened with the person over there. And you'll understand how important bias is becoming and why it's one of the hot topics at the moment. AI ethics has been brought up recently so often, because it's also the motto for like 2021 this year, to make your AI models and AI machines more fair, right? So IBM does have services out there that you can include and make sure that you're not being biased towards anyone. Okay, so it's called the IBM Fairness 360. You can have a look at it as well. It's pretty simple. All right, we're almost at the end of the pipeline, and it's done building. So with the whole process, you can see it started with reading the data set, and then it kept the split holdout data separate, and then read training data. So it started reading the training data, understanding the data, pre-processing the data, which is cleaning the data if there is anything to be cleaned, and looking for any cells that are empty, and thinking what, and making sure that they have been filled with either the appropriate values, like the mean of the value, or if there's too many missing values, then in the same row, that row can be dropped. Okay, so this is what pre-processing it does it by itself. And then it has model selection. So you remember how in the experiment settings we said we want to go with two algorithms? So with model selection, it came up with two of the best algorithms that will suit this experiment, which is XGB regressor and random forest regressor. Okay. Once it selected those two algorithms, it went ahead and created a pipeline. Then it went to the next stage of doing hyperparameter optimization and then create another one. Then it went into feature engineering and then created the third pipeline, and then hyperparameter optimization again, and the fourth pipeline. So in the second part as well, it's the same thing. It created a fifth pipeline, which is random forest, then hyperparameter optimization, and then feature engineering, and then hyperparameter optimization. Okay, and it did that. Now you can either save this as a notebook and use it as well, but just scroll down over here. So if you scroll down here, you'll see the pipeline leaderboard. In the leaderboard, you can find all the 8 pipelines created, and they are also ranked by the performance. So pipeline number 4 is the best pipeline that we have, because and the algorithm it used is XGB regressor. The value for the root mean square error is 4543, which is the lowest value that we need based on root mean square and regression. We need the lowest value, and then it has the build time, how much it took that. Now, if you click on this pipeline, it will open up a dialog box over here for you. Over here, you can actually do model evaluation, okay, and you can see what's the cross-validation score for each of the different optimization metrics that you have. And you can choose whatever you like, and you can just basically see, and then next time maybe choose that one or whatever you like. In model information, it just has number of features. Number of features is basically how many columns you have, and the target was expensive. Columns is 6, and creation date. The next important one is feature importance. Okay, now this one you can see for a smoker you have 0.85, which is the highest which is one of the highest variables to insurance premium for us. Okay, so this is a major factor. So this will play a major factor in how much you have to pay for your insurance premium. Followed by that, you have BMI, age, and then children. But a smoker alone can make a huge difference in your insurance premium charges. Okay, so we'll go ahead and click on Save As. Once you click on Save As, you need to select as a model, or you can also save it as a notebook, but for this session, we will save it as a model. And then over here, you can give it a name. If you want to change the name, you can give it a different name. I'm just going to go ahead with this one and click on Create. Okay, so once you click on Create, you can see it says model saved successfully. Just click on View in Project. Okay, so over here you can see that, and in the activities, I think there's nothing in the activities. Yeah. Okay, so in the overview, you can see the type of each of the column. If it's an integer, double, or any other means, it's text. Okay, so now what we need to do is, after we have saved our pipeline, we need to deploy it. Okay, so for deployment, we need to promote it to deployment space. So just click on Promote to deployment space. All right. So in deployment space, you will not have any deployment space. So over here towards your right, you will find new space. Click on new space. Okay, so you can give it a name. I'm just giving it the same name everywhere. Okay, so once you give it a name, you can give it a description. You can give tags to remember easily. And then down here, you will see select storage service. You will find your cloud object storage already associated with it. Okay, so you can keep that over there. And in case if it's not associated, make sure you associate it. Now in select machine learning service, it says optional, but for us, it's really important at the moment. So we're going to go ahead and click on machine learning service that we created earlier. Okay, you should find it in the drop down just here, just like I did. and associate and click on that service name that you created. And once you do that, click on create. Make sure you do this machine learning service. It's really important. Okay, so click on create. Now it's going to create a space for us where we can deploy our pipeline. So it's done creating a deployment space. So just click on close. Um, okay. So once you click on close, you'll in the target space, you will find your space that you just created. Click on that and then click on promote. Okay, so over here, before moving on to the deployment space, I do want to show you how in the assets tab, now we have a lot more stuff than just the data assets. We have our experiments and then we have our models. If you had your notebooks, it will be here as well under the notebooks tab, right? So now let's go ahead and click on deployment space. You can see in the dialog over here. Just click on deployment space in the link that it shows. And in case you missed that link, you can just click on this hamburger sign over here on the left corner. And then under your deployments, you should find the one that you created. Once you click on that, okay, so you land onto the same page. All right. So now let's So once you do that, you can just hover over this row and then you should find this rocket sign over here that says deploy. So click on that. Okay, we'll deploy an online model. It runs in real time. So in case you have any web services that you are running, you can get direct data from there and you can continuously run this, or you can run it as a batch process. Like for us, the data is in the CSV, right? So we can either run it this way as well. Now give your deployment a name. Okay. Once you give it a name, just click on create. Okay. So now our model is deployed. So if you see under deployments tab, you'll see it's in progress. You can find the status over here. Okay, again in the jobs, you can create jobs so that they keep continuously running. So this is for batch deployment. If you like in our case, if we chose batch deployment instead of online deployment, we can create jobs. Okay, and again manage. You have insurance premium charges, you have cloud object, you have name the cloud object, and you see the space GUID. When you create your notebooks, this is for deployment through the notebook, you have to use this ID. Similarly, this has access control as well and the different environments as well. Okay, so basically the same stuff here as well. Our It's been deployed, our model. Now, if you click on it, Okay, so you can find the endpoint over here that you can use in your application. So you can embed this model into your application and use it. You can also use the code snippets for Curl, Java, JavaScript, Python, Scala. So you have all these different snippets that you can use to run your applications, to run this in your applications, okay? But on the top, in the tab, just next to this API reference, you'll see test. Now, if you're in a hurry and you just want to test your model, right, and see what's happening with it, how it's responding, is it accurate enough before you actually go into putting it into your application, you can do this over here very easily. Now, I'm just going to randomly choose some data, but because I want to show how it works, but what you can do is you can open the CSV file and you can select any row and use that data into this as well, okay? So age 19, let's go with male, BMI is 29, children, sorry, it's an integer value, 0, and let's say he is not a smoker, and go with Southwest. So you'll see that it's mostly Southwest data, so I'm just using Southwest. Click on add to list, and you'll see over here predict one, okay? So because we only have one information over here, so let's go ahead and predict it. So over here you can see the value for prediction is 2,587. So this is what this person has to pay for the insurance premium, okay? But now I'll just show you one more thing. Okay. So now all I will do is I will change this to yes. Okay. Now if I change this to yes and click on predict, you can see the amount of difference this has. Now it's 18,512. Before it was only in a couple of thousands, and now it's in 18,512. Okay. Let's go back and see. So 2,587 and 18,000, that's a huge difference, right? Now, if we go back to, let's say, okay, let's just use this one itself. One second. Okay. So just above smoker is the children part. Let's put 1. No, sorry, what was the, oh, sorry, BMI. BMI was the second factor that will be in insurance, right? So BMI, if we reduce the BMI to 19, let's see. So it's not much of a difference. If you remember, BMI was just like 0.1 or 2, whereas smoker was 0.85. So that was a huge difference, right? With the BMI, it's not affecting that much, even though I reduced like 10 points in the BMI, but it doesn't reduce that much. Now, if I add children to this person, okay, and see, it has increased a little bit because now this person has a dependent, right? So similarly, in some other applications, this you can use the IBM Watson Fairness 360 toolkit to see bias, or if you read your own data and you know you're trying to predict something and you think this might cause a bias, you can actually remove that. Like in this case, the gender should not be much of a shouldn't make much of a difference. So let's test that. So this for a female, it's a bit more compared to. Wait, I forgot the value. Yeah, So for female, it's a bit more, right? But just imagine if this thing was showing a huge amount of change just for the females. That means it's trying to discriminate in some sort, right? So you could have always in your settings for the auto AI experiment over there, you could have removed the gender because it can cause bias, right? So you can actually remove some of the columns as well if you don't need those. For this session, I think that's it. Again, I'll tell you, you can find all the information in the notebook over here till the part that we finish the deployment. If you're interested in doing it through notebooks, you can go ahead and use the GitHub repository. And I think that's it from my side. If you guys have any questions, I will answer them in the chat. Okay, or if you have any questions, I can answer them now. If not, I will hand it over to Majida.
Great. Thank you so much, Anam.
You're welcome.
Okay. So, just one second. I'm sharing my screen. All right. So, okay. So we're done with the lab section. Hopefully you guys were able to follow along with us. If you have any questions, I'm gonna just type in my email and Anam's email in the chat so you can reach out to us whenever you have any questions, any clarification, any further clarification that you'd like to have on artificial intelligence or any other technologies. We're ready to help, and yeah, we're ready to help you and assist you. So here's the join call for code. Just a quick reminder, if you haven't taken a look at it, please do so. Utilize your skills, your knowledge to give back to the community, to solve worldwide problems. And it's a 4-month timeline of a challenge, a hackathon challenge. So why not participate? Why not go there and give back? It could be also so much fun once you get to know your communities and that competitive edge that it has, because it's a global challenge, is just very stimulating and very very interesting for developers in particular. Okay, so one more thing, I'd like to share the link of our survey. Through our survey, you can actually sign up your name to be a speaker on one of our workshops, one of our IBM Developer Series workshops, or like local workshops that we run in different MEA countries, Middle East and Africa. Saudi Arabia, whether you want to participate in a workshop that's run in a local partner in Saudi Arabia or in United Arab Emirates or in Pakistan or in South Africa, for example, please sign up for it. It's through the survey, and give us back your feedback. It's very important for us to know what you think.
Majida, your screen is stuck. It's not moving.
What about now?
Oh, still the same. It's on lab section at the moment.
Okay, one second. Sorry for that. I'll switch.
Okay.
Okay.
It's still the same. Can you stop presenting and then present again?
Okay, so it's not a problem. I actually would finalize my slides by sending the survey link. It's in the chat. So please give us back your feedback and let us know
Okay, it's
what
working
you think.
now.
Awesome. Okay. All right. So once you're done with the feedback, basically we're all set for the session. Hopefully it was helpful for you guys. Hopefully we got the chance to you get the chance to leave this session with knowledge about artificial intelligence, about Otter AI, about Watson services, how to use the IBM cloud, and so on. If you have any questions, please let us know before we end the call. Anam, can you please add your email in the chat so that if they have any questions, they could reach out to us, and I'll add my email as well.
Yeah, sure.
All right, so I just added my email, and Anam will add her email. And again, if you need any help, please let us know. Okay, we're all good then. Anything else you want to mention, Anam, before we leave?
I just want to thank you both, Ms. Majida and Ms. Anam. And I want to remind the participants to please register for attendance at the link provided in the chat. Please don't forget, it's very important for you to get your certificates. So please register in the link provided for attendance. And thank you very much for all. Thank you for the speakers, and thank you for the participants.
Thank you so much. Have a good rest of your day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you, everyone.
So did everyone register for attendance? I'm not gonna leave the session until I make sure that everyone is registered, and after you all leave, I will end the session. So I'll be waiting for you. Take your time to register for attendance, and thank you very much.